Mike's Daily Podcast.
Welcome to episode 2337.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
2337, my friend. It's been a great couple of minutes here. I'm at cafe. Anyway, and you saw the last podcast picture was a cat. And he's not gray, but he's black and white, which you can sometimes get gray with.
Mike's Daily Podcast.
When you mix those together. Welcome to this podcast that has been going on for a while.
Mike's
It's episode
Daily
2337.
Podcast.
200,000.
Yeah!
2,337. There we go. That's how we say it. That's how we say it. Did you think I was going into a MC Hammer song just then? I know, that would have been strange. Hey, I bet you're saying right now, Mike, what on earth could you be talking about on this podcast today? What with everything going on with strange verdicts and bizarre, what else? All that stuff going on in the world today. Things. A myriad, a plethora of things going on this planet. And you're like, Mike, how can I get through that? But more importantly, how do I get adjusted to these short days? Oh, wow, I'm looking at the full moon. Is that a full moon? Is that a lunar eclipse moon? Is that a Bonnie Tyler moon? I'm not sure. Is it a total eclipse of my heart? Perhaps. Or perhaps you were more of a fan of the, what was her name? The girl that did the cover. The Total Eclipse of the Heart cover. Remember, it was all disco-y? It was actually produced by the same crew that did Never Gonna Give You Up.
And here's today's podcast picture.
That Rick Astley song, if you didn't know that. Total Eclipse of the Heart was covered by... No? Wow. Usually, there was a time when I could just look this stuff up and it was totally there as fast as you could say Mike Matthews doing a podcast and hearing the late great Basil the Boxer growling. Yes. Basil, I will have a podcast picture of you soon. Don't forget, Basil, you will have another picture on Mike's Daily Podcast website. Well, it's amazing. So now there's this Ali Sherlock cover. So she looks like a youngster doing it. Oh, the podcast picture today is of a place that Basil and I used to go to very often. Half Moon Bay. I was there on Wednesday enjoying my birthday before my actual birthday, which is coming up on Monday. And I don't think I'm going to be able to do a podcast tomorrow, because we have this thing called a party we're going to. Yes, a party. And we're going to be celebrating somebody else's birthday tomorrow, a guy named Joe. It'll be his birthday, and so we will hang out with him. And then my birthday is on Monday, but I'll be very busy. There's just a bunch of stuff converging at my job, and the fact that Thanksgiving is happening just a few short days away. It makes it all very, very crazy. Let's see. So Bonnie Tyler is the most famous one. And then they don't even mention the other lady. This is... Oh, okay. Other versions. Since 1983, when the song first came out, Bonnie Tyler did a duet of it. And then Baby Pink Star recorded the song with Tyler, did a remix of it. Nikki French. Gosh. I feel bad for the podcast listener that's been screaming Nikki French at me for the past 10 minutes. English singer and actress Nikki French released a remake of Total Eclipse of the Heart. That's the one that's got the beat to it. It originally peaked at number 54 on the UK singles chart in 1994, but reached number 5 after being reissued in 1995. That was in England. In US, in America, French's version peaked at number 2 and was kicked out of number 1 by a song. I never hear this song anymore. Bryan Adams, Have You Ever Really Loved a Woman? People forget he had a huge hit with that. I believe Robert John Mutt Lange, the former husband of Shania Twain, produced that song, as he had also produced Everything You Do, I Do It For You. And he also did that song with oh crud, I'm getting a call. Sting and I'll have more than
Later that day.
Rod Stewart. That's right. It was from that Three Musketeers movie. Was this all too much information? And then, of course, Mutt Lange produced all of Shania's stuff that was big, popular stuff. Okay. The point being, there's a very full moon out right now, and that there's music out there. And there was once a song by Bryan Adams, Have You Really Loved a Woman? So there you go. What I was getting to, though, was that daylight savings time it's wonderful, and that, people, we're used to it in the holiday season. It's just darker at night. We put up our Christmas lights and it looks cool. But a New York-based neuropsychologist named Sanam Hafiz said that did a diagnostic and treatment center, or works at a diagnostic and treatment center. But Sanam says the effect of ending daylight savings time is associated with an item in the retinas of our eyes called a ganglion cell. So there's effects from the daylight savings time that affects the ganglion cell that contains the photopigment melanopsin. Sanam says, when we are exposed to sunlight, melanopsin signals a pathway to cells in the hypothalamus, specifically responsible for regulating our body's biological functions. This process then triggers the pineal gland, which is in charge of melatonin secretion, which peaks at night and wears off during the day as we go outside a cafe anyway, where we bring you Mike's Daily Podcast somewhere in Podcastro Valleyton, the last place on earth, looking at the big full moon. In simpler terms, she says, the less light exposure we get, the more out of step we may feel. Lack of sunlight suppresses the production of two important hormones, serotonin and sleep-inducing melatonin, both of which play an important role in mood balance. In other words, a person's level of serotonin and melatonin decreases when there is less sunlight, which may lead to symptoms of depression. By the way, I just thought of it, so I'm saying it right now. I'm being impulsive here. But don't forget that it's my birthday on Monday, and that I am going to be on the radio on Sunday, doing my special 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. show, playing some upbeat, awesome 80s, 70s, 90s music. So you can listen to it. There's a link at mikesdailypodcast.com. It's all about the 90s lately. I've been thinking a lot about the 90s and about how weird it was that Las Vegas tried to be all family friendly in the 90s and did stuff like they had an amusement park, the Circus amusement park. MGM Grand had an amusement park. There was the thing up at the top of that tower, that roller coaster. I didn't go to Vegas till 2006 for the first time. And actually then I went back in 2011, and I said right here on this podcast that, it was actually early 2012, that I hated Vegas, and because I don't gamble or smoke, it is not worth it. There's just nothing else to do there. Oh, but Mike, there's all those shows, and Sting's going to be in residency, and Billy Joel, and, well, no thanks. But at one time, they tried to get the families to go there, and that didn't work, and went back to being Sin City and less families, because they realized that when families have their kids, the parents aren't gambling as much. I find that fascinating. Just that whole world of Vegas in the 90s. Because it's so, like, when you look at videos from that time, it just was so, and I think they shot a couple movies in Vegas at that time. It just looks so 90s. That hair, there's still mullets, there's the shoulder pads, and just that look. There's so many punky kids because it was The Simpsons, and kids were just being really punky and stupid, and Dennis the Menace. So they like had the same kid playing every kid in every movie. It was the same kid, the same actor. I don't know his name. He probably is, suffering from depression now because of the time change, and probably is doing a podcast, and is probably punky as ever, and maybe addicted to substances, but I really wish him the best, this hypothetical person. So, behaviorally, people know the extra hour is being built in. When that extra hour happened a couple weeks ago. But people, it doesn't really do anybody any good because people stay up later doing things rather than getting a full night's sleep. I had to get extra early that day because we were trying to get our stray cat that we've been helping out. We tried to get him fixed and had to get up early, and we couldn't catch him. It was bad. I talked all about that in a recent podcast. Well, just remember, you need to schedule more outside time this time of year. More times outside the daylight doing physical activity. It's also a good way to help reduce the risk of depressive episodes. Try not to sleep in later. Try to get to bed early. And there you go. All that from healthline.com. Thank you for that tip. Outside a cafe anyway, somewhere in Podcastro, Valentino, the last place on earth. Look who's here. Hi, Mark. It's Benita the Rodeo Queen. How y'all doing?
It's a Disgruntled Fiddle Player, tell you what.
What?
I sure like Sting and Rod Stewart, but I don't know who Bryan Adams is.
Summer of 69, Heaven, Gonna Run to You, Cuts Like a Knife. This time, nothing's gonna bend it down. Please forgive me. I know not what I'll do.
Yeah, I still don't know. No bells being rung.
Ding. Look who else is here.
Hello, Mike. I make the delicious root beer handsome right now.
Thank you. Oh, so delicious. Yes, the 90s. That's such good root beer. Is there cream soda in that?
Yeah.
Is it got a little tinge of raspberry?
Sure, okay. Oh, boy. Drink it right now.
Thank you. Next show, it's going to be the wonderful Madame Rootabega, Valentino, and Bison Bentley. Probably won't do one for the next couple of days. Tomorrow's busy with Joe's birthday, then my birthday, then things happen, and then hopefully maybe Tuesday. We'll see. But I hope to get one out to you before Thanksgiving. If not, have a great Thanksgiving. We'll talk then. How about that? All right. That's fine with you, fine with me. Check out the podcast page, the website. We got A-Frame to tell you more about that. Oh, and you can call me 336MM Daily. 3 + 3 = 6. MM as in Mike Matthews Daily, as in what this podcast will try to be, but we'll get interrupted, as you know, because that's live. Even if there's more sunlight or less sunlight or more moonlight, and you can't fight the moonlight, that's Leanne Rimes. I think that was produced by Trevor Horn, though, but not Mutt Lang. But don't quote me on that.
Mike's Daily Podcast is written and produced and performed by Mike Matthews. His podcast is super easy to find. Download or listen to his show and read his blog at mikesdailypodcast.com. Email Mike now at mikesdailypodcast@gmail.com. See you tomorrow. Bye!